As a member of the order Carnivora, why do giant pandas insist on eating bamboo that has almost no nutritional value? It is hard to imagine how the cruel evolutionary forces that shaped the sharp teeth of tigers and the huge paws of brown bears could have produced such a creature. They are very cute, but once you learn how bad they are at being animals, your sympathy may turn into a head full of questions. Giant pandas have evolved an extreme dependence on bamboo. This food is as low in nutrition as chewing wood and as toxic as containing cyanide. Other animals avoid it as much as possible, but giant pandas have to spend 12 hours a day eating dozens of kilograms of it just to survive. Why have they turned themselves into bamboo shredders? They defecate about 40 tons a day and even give themselves full body spas with horse dung. They seem like an accident of evolution, but evolution never makes meaningless mistakes. First of all, giant pandas are true bears. About 6 million to 7 million years ago, they gave up meat and switched to bamboo. The evidence is that they evolved a special tool, a false thumb, which is actually a specialized wrist bone that looks like a sixth finger, used specifically to grip bamboo stems precisely. But the rest of their bodies never kept up with this shift to vegetarianism. They still have the sharp teeth of carnivores, the short intestines of carnivores, and even the gut bacteria are more similar to their meat-eating relatives. Using a system designed to digest roasted meat to process a mass of cellulose wood, giant pandas can only digest 20% of the bamboo they eat, then excrete large amounts of barely used waste. You must be asking what the point of this is. Evolution's answer is simple and cruel. Bamboo is an easily accessible buffet. In Sichuan, the native home of giant pandas, bamboo is extremely dominant. And because it is toxic and low in nutrition, almost no other animals like to eat it. The ancestors of giant pandas may have eaten bamboo occasionally as a snack, but then the tragic change happened about 4,200,000 years ago. Giant pandas lost a key gene called TOS1R1, which is responsible for sensing the umami taste in meat. Meat became tasteless in their mouths. How do they deal with the cyanide poison in bamboo? Other herbivores rely on their own enzymes to detoxify, but giant pandas have very few such enzymes. They have a special helper, a specific type of bacteria in their intestines from the genus Pseudomonas. They only eat young bamboo shoots and specific parts of bamboo stems and leaves with low cyanide content. Through this careful food selection, giant pandas manage to extract protein levels comparable to those of carnivores from this highly tough and slightly toxic food. Giant pandas have evolved an ultimate energy-saving mode. First, their metabolic rate drops to an extremely low level. Second, they move as little as possible and always choose the most effortless paths for all activities. Third, they cannot hibernate because bamboo provides too little energy. They have to eat non-stop all year. This forces them to face severe cold in winter, which leads to the famous behavior of rubbing horse dung. Scientists have found that certain compounds in horse dung can temporarily numb their cold receptors and make them feel less cold. Of course, they might just find it fun. The feeding problem is barely solved, but reproduction is the hardest level in the giant panda's survival game. Female giant pandas only have a fertile period of 2 to 7 days each year. One giant panda leaves scent marks, hoping another panda can accurately receive the signal and travel a long distance to meet within the short few days in the vast forest. The success rate is comparable to winning the lottery. A female giant panda usually raises only one cub at a time. A newborn cub weighs only 1/800th of a mother's weight and is as fragile as a peanut. Every link in the entire reproductive chain is extremely fragile, and their numbers may have been slowly declining. But the appearance of humans directly press the fast-forward button. Deforestation, road construction, and dam building have split their habitats into isolated islands of bamboo forests, making it even harder for them to find food and mates. They have barely stayed at the vulnerable level thanks to their tough casual lifestyle and the full efforts of human protection. Looking back, giant pandas are not failed products of evolution. Every clumsy and awkward trait is a mark of survival left after compromising with a harsh environment. The wisdom of survival can be the ferocity of tigers, or the laid-back lifestyle of giant pandas. And it is our human responsibility to protect these fellows that have taken different evolutionary paths. After all, a world that can hold giant pandas is truly an interesting world.